Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Kemi, and I'm here to talk about Beyond the Gates Season 2, Episode 20. Now, before we begin, make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notification so you'll know whenever I post. All right, so we start the episode off with Eva walking into Uptown and she sees Kat and Izaiah laughing or whatever. So she walks over there and she gives him this big old kiss and makes this big old play about letting Kat basically know this is her man. She's like, hey, babe, and all this other stuff. And she was just like, sorry to interrupt whatever this was. And Kat was just like, although I generally think you're a sorry person, I don't believe that you're sorry for interrupting, but it is what it is. So Eva joins them. Eva and Kat, they do their little jabs back and forth, and everything that Kat says gets under Eva's skin, and Kat is just like, see, she goes with her basic instincts of attacking and just all this other stuff or whatever, getting under Eva's skin. So Eva's just like telling her, like, if you feel like you're scared of your big bad half sister, then just go over there with your best friend or whatever. And Kat looks over and she sees that Chelsea's at the bar and Chelsea looks sad. So she goes to Chelsea to talk to her. So we find out that, again, with last episode, Bill had got the text telling Madison saying she wanted to move up her appointment. So Bill goes to the appointment. He did his, blood work or whatever. And he's asking Madison, like, why, you know, late night calls, all like asking her why is it so late or whatever. And Madison tells him that, she has a she's going on sabbatical and she's going on sabbatical, she's going to Copenhagen or whatever. I'm sorry, she's going on a sabbatical for a year. And Bill is just like, well, I understand you're not going to be my doctor anymore, but I do hope that I can still see you, we can do lunch or whatever. And she was just like, oh, yeah, that can't happen because I'm going to Copenhagen. So he's just like asking, like, is everything okay? Like, I know things were kind of rough between you and my daughter, but I hope, this isn't the reason why you're leaving. And she's just like, when we're in this room, it's patient doctor. I'm not your daughter's girlfriend. So I want to keep my professional and my personal separate. So he's just like, okay. So she leaves to go and check something. He calls Chelsea to let her know, hey, your girl's going to Copenhagen. I just thought you should know. Madison comes back. She's looking at his test results, and she sees an anomaly. Sorry, and she's telling him about it, and he's just like, okay, so what are we gonna do? Like, is this normal? Da 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 da. And she was just like, it could be. I'm not really sure what it is, but we'll go ahead and I'll get with your new neurologist, and we'll schedule another appointment so we can check and see if everything is how it is. So we see Hayley. She had called Randy down because she needed his help with something or whatever. And she tells him that she's up the dosage. And he's just like, why are you doing that? Like, you never know what could happen. The guy who supplied the toxin says if you do it in like in big, large quantities and amounts, it could change something biologically, or not even biologically, but just something on the inside that wouldn't be seen on the outside. And Hayley is just like, child, that I ain't worried about that. They will never know. And he's just like, didn't your husband just have a stroke? Isn't he always going to appointments? And she's just like, I'll talk him out of it. He's not going to figure it out. And I'll stop the dosages before his next appointment, and by then it'll already be too late. But again, she didn't know that he was at the doctor at this moment as she's saying all of this, and he's finding out this information. So he goes so we see Bill, he's back at the office, and Hayley is waiting on him or whatever. And she's just like, like he was just like, oh, you're still here. And she was just like, yeah, you got me all waiting on you and da da da, all this other stuff, and just trying to be like all sexy or whatever. And he's just like, yeah, I'm not in the mood. And she's just like, what's wrong? And that's when he tells her that that Madison called him early for an appointment, and they did some blood work and they found something. So she looks shook. And it's just like, girl, you should have known that, girl. So we see Chelsea at uptown, and Kat is with her. Kat's talking to her, telling her she's like giving her advice about it, because Chelsea had told Kat that she found out that Madison's going to Copenhagen and she didn't tell her. And Kat is just like, she's not used to the old you. She met you and you were and you turned into somebody completely different. Maybe she needs reassurance that you aren't going to be going down that same path. Like, you just need to talk to her. And Chelsea was just like, well, I thought you told me to give her space. And she was just like, no. She was just like, well, at this moment, no, you shouldn't give her space, because girl, she talking about leaving. So take your butt on and hurry up. Like, girl, what is this? And it's just like, come on now. Chelsea, come on now. So we see, so after Kat has left, Izaiah and Eva to talk or whatever, Eva is just like, what were y'all talking about? Like, why were you kikiing with her? And he was just like, she was just, Danny offered me to be a model, and she was giving me advice on it. And she was just like, oh, okay, well, I could see you being a model, but why would you, like, why do you want to, what about your job at Banneker? And he was just like, I do love my job, but Kat was just telling me, something to think about. And she was also saying maybe I could. And then he stops, and she was just like, you could what? And he was just like, it was just a joke, but she was just like, maybe I could start modeling for their bags or whatever. And Eva was just like, she always wants to dig her manicured nails into every aspect of my life. She's always talking about how I'm an animal with no home training, but she's a stray dog that wants my scraps or whatever. And he was just like, I hope you not talking. Like, are you talking about me being your scraps or whatever? Some BS like that. And then he asked her, like, "Are you jealous? Like, are you jealous or whatever?" And she was just like, "No, I'm not jealous." Something. And she was just like, "I've told you how she's made me feel ever since I came into town, and you still want to laugh with her and X, Y, and Z, all this other stuff." And she was just like, and if and because I see how the person that you would laugh with, maybe I see that your feelings aren't what they really are. And now I don't want to get to know you because of the type of person that you want to laugh and kiki with or whatever. If Kat is who you want, then basically whatever. So she storms out, and Kat sees her walking out. So she goes back up to Izaiah, and she's just like, I told you this is how she was, da 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 da, all this other stuff. And I was just like, girl, Kat, why'd you even go back? But my thing is, Miss Eva, ma'am, you are the one who came into town and dug your nails into every aspect of her life. You infiltrated her family, you infiltrated her boyfriend. So it's not Kat that's going after anything that you have. You are the one who set all of this in motion. You set going up after her family. You set going up after her man. So if Kat starts to go after your man, then it is what it is, because you did that to her. So you can miss me with this outrage that you have on this subject. Sorry, not sorry. We see Chelsea go to the hospital, and she's just like she's talking to Matt. goes in and she's just like, why are you trying to run away and go to Copenhagen and all this other stuff? And Madison was just like, first of all, how did you, okay, but girl, I'm at work. Why are you doing the most? Like, come here, let's talk. So they go off to the side to talk. We also see Nicole in this episode. So Carlton sends her a text and is just like, are we still on for tonight? And we see Nicole get a text from Kyle, and he was just like, I want to know if we can meet up tonight. And then she gets the message from Carlton saying, are we still on for tonight? So we see her getting ready, and we don't know who she's going out with, but then we do see her later. We do see her next when she's already dressed and ready, and she's getting ready to go out with Carlton. So he's telling her where they're going, that he wants to take her to Obelisk or whatever. And she's just like, yeah, I don't want to go to Obelisk. I want to eat you. So they go upstairs and they go and have sex or whatever. So after they're done, she talks about, this is the first time that they had sex. It was downstairs in the living room because she wasn't ready to bring another man into her bed, because that's the same bed that she's been with with Ted. That's the only man that she's ever had in that bed. So now that she's brought Carlton in the bed, she feels better, because now she's brought another man into the bed. So she's feeling good about that. He asks, he wants to schedule another date with her for Saturday. And she's just like, I've always lived my life on a schedule. I just want to, I want to be free. Like, I don't want to schedule anything. I just want to, um, go by the seat of my pants, play it by ear, and we'll do what we do. I don't want to schedule nothing. And he was just like, cool, I understand. Just know, since that's how you want to roll, don't be mad if you get some "are you up" text. And she was just like, cool. Speaking of, let's go round two. so they so then they go around two. So she living her best life. So we see Vernon and Anita, and they're at the club, and she's just like, oh, I'm surprised that you wanted me to come out, since you've been keeping me in the house and I can't do anything. And he's just like, I'm just coming out, whatever. So they're getting ready to go inside, and they see that it's like closed for a private party. And Anita's just like, they're good. They're usually good about sending a message letting you know. And so Vernon's just like, you know what? I'm about to go talk to the owner. Like, why you can't do you got to let me know, because my daddy built this club and da 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 and all this other stuff, or his granddaddy built the club or something like that. So he walks into the and she's trying to stop him. So she walks in and he follows her in, and he had rented out the place for the night. And she's just like, is this your way of trying to get out of the doghouse and apologize for all the extra? And he was just like, and then the lights go dim and it starts to play sensual music, and he was just like, is it working? I was just like, this is so cute. So they sit down to talk or whatever, because they're getting ready for the dinner to come. And so he was just like, I want us to make a plan and not talk about the big C. So we're just gonna, just be free. And she was just like, I'm surprised that you think you can handle it, because you're always thinking about the big C. He was just like, we're gonna not talk about it. And he was just like, who said that we're only gonna be talking? So he claps his hands again, and the music changes to dancing music. So they're dancing or whatever, and they're having fun, being all cute or whatever. So then they sit back down. After they've danced, they've enjoyed themselves. They're eating dinner, and they're just, happy to be with each other. He gives her a gift, which was a gift that she was eyeing during Christmas, and she had, said something about it, but she didn't think that he was like paying attention. So she was just like, she was just like, oh my God, they're beautiful. You not only listen, but you hear me, and I'm, just happy or whatever. So she forgives him or whatever. So he says, he was just like, the night's not over. I still got another surprise for you. And she was just like, what? And he was just like, dessert. And she was just like, oh my God, is it from my favorite restaurant? And he was just like, yeah, you don't know how hard it was to get the recipe so that we can make it here. But let me go check and see if it's ready. So he leaves to go and check to see if it's ready. And she pulls out her mirror so that she could, I guess, put on check her face and maybe try on the earrings. I'm not really sure, but she goes to put her hand through her hair, and when she does, like like a chunk of hair comes out, and then she does it in the other side, and then another set of like chunk of hair comes out. So she wraps it up and puts it in her purse, and then Vernon comes out. And he was just like, "You ready for dessert?" And she was just like, "No, I'm not ready. I just want to go home. I'm not feeling too good. Can we go home?" So he was just like, "Of course." So he was just like, "Let me go see if they can pack it up for us." So he goes back to the kitchen to see if he can pack it up, and she walks out of the dining hall, and she looks in her purse with of her hair or whatever, and she just looks so sad. And that's how the episode ended. And I was just like, oh, this made me sad. I was just like, oh, they are really hitting the feels when it comes to this story. And I was just like, oh, these people are playing it so well. I love it. But that was the episode. It was a short, sweet episode. Really good. I liked it. Not a lot happened. Just enough happened to move some stuff along. Make sure you guys are liking, subscribing, and turning on your post notifications so you know whenever I post. Get down in the comments, and I will see you guys in the next one.